I pay my humble respect to you all, and I invoke the blessings of Saint Srimanta Sankardeva on you all. Srimanta Sankardeva was such a person who redeemed the people of Assam from a dark period, from a dark time when the state had fallen into the dark abyss, when human sacrifice was almost an order of the day. There are 40 temples in Mahapurush Valley where human beings were sacrificed in the medieval period. The women did not have any honor. There was a system called a bogi. The bogis were people selected to be sacrificed before the deity, and they could enter any house and reach that honor of the ladies. So that was the sort of the social scenario in the 15th century. And after Sankardeva came, he changed the whole thing. He devised a philosophy befitting to the social requirement. Since the decadent practice in the religion had led to those evil practices, he preached a Vaishnavite order where only a single entity was worshipped, and it was devoid of any female deity worship. Because of the presence of a female deity worship in the prevailing religious practices, those evil practices had entered into the system. That was why he insisted on his order being free from any female deity worship. He preached Eka Sarana Nama Dharma, that means refuse in a single entity. In fact, that was the philosophy preached by the Hinduism. In Bhagavad Gita, in the last verse, Lord Krishna said, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braja. You give up every other thing and take refuge in me only. That was the concept of Eka Sarana. But till the time of Srimanta Sankardeva, Eka Sarana was not practically preached or practiced in any Indian Hindu order. Even the bhakti orders other than the Eka Sarana Dharma had deities like Sita, Lakshmi, Bhu, Sri, and such other deities, along with Rama, Krishna, Vittal, etc. Even the Alvars, who are credited with being the pioneer in the Bhakti movement, they had worshipped the deities like Sri and Bhu. It was therefore Srimanta Sankardeva who brought the theory of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in practice. And it was also a social necessity in that time. So what he did through his religious order was a great social reform. And not only reform in the religion, but also in different other practices. He conferred special status to the women. He empowered women in those periods. While he engaged his people in Bordua to build an earthen den, he gave the responsibility of leading the workers upon a woman named Radhika, who belonged to a so-called low caste. In those times, people were very strict about what caste one belonged to. That lady belonged to the official community, which is called Kalbarta in Assamese. But Srimanta Sankardeva made Radhika the leader of the workforce. That's why the people came in large and helped build that Arthandel. And that dam is still there. When you go to Badua, you pass, the road goes by the dam only. And that dam blocked the entry of the Santijan towards the Badua Tham. So that was the way he did things in a practical way. Like he built an institution called Tham. It was named Tham in his time, and later on it became known as Satra. That was a social enterprise, the like of which came in other parts of the world much later. We can find social enterprise like kibbutz in Israel, commune in China, but the Satra or Tham institution was much before the kibbutz or commune, and it covered different socio-economic and cultural functions. In fact, excluding the military aspect, almost all other aspects were covered by the Tham or Satra institution, and it gave emphasis on making a person an integral human being. It taught people not only religion, but also literature, culture, music, and so many things. When the devotees came to the Satra, they had to learn how to write, how to read, how to dance, how to sing. Srimanta Sankardeva does cater to the integrated requirement of all the people. And it was a model which is sustainable. It has therefore lasted till today. The Satra institution has lasted for the last 5 centuries because of the sustainable model, which Dr. Das has referred to elaborately. How does it work? It is the only system in entire world where the religious people do not go for begging. The devotees in Sankardeva's order do not live by begging. They do not go to ask for help. In the Tham or Satra, all the devotees are allotted land by the head of the institution, who is called Satradhikar. He allots a particular plot of land to each devotee, and that devotee has to cultivate on that land and eke out his own living. So he has to be self-dependent. He has to work and he has to learn music, dance, all these things at the same time. So it is integrated living. Like Dr. Das referred to the holistic development. It was sort of holistic development. Srimanta Sankardeva realized through his special model of Tham or Satra, the like of which was not there anywhere. And in this period, in the 15th century, the education system was closed to the majority of the people. Only the high caste people could go to the limited number of tolls. The tolls were for only the Brahmin and the other such high caste people like caste. Only Brahmin and caste boys, not the girls. The girls did not have any access. Only the Brahmin and caste boys could go to the tolls. So the education system was open only to the high caste people. That's why they could exploit the people at large, because the whole knowledge was confined to them only. So whatever they say to the people had no other alternative than to accept. That was the way how the middlemanship emerged. Because in religion, there were a lot of middlemen in that period, and they could exploit people economically. That exploitation became so much that people generally they turned to Sankardeva's order gradually. And Sankardeva devised a new system. It was not possible to set up schools all over the valley. So what he did, he incorporated the content of the prevailing syllabus of the tolls in his writings. His writing means his hymns, his plays, which were played and sung inside the Kirtan Ghar. And the Kirtan Ghar were constructed in such a manner that whatever was held, whatever was played, whatever was sung there could be heard by everyone. There was no one. The Kirtan Ghar number, which you can see nowadays, have closed walls, but actually in those periods there were no one. So whatever happened there could be heard by people at large. So when a play enacted within the Kirtan Ghar, then people could get to know what was taught in the school. That way, people became enlightened. So Sankardeva's plays enlightened people. He wrote in his Anadi Patal, in a verse, that you have to educate the low caste people and the women, because it was the low caste people and the women who were debarred from the education system. So he was very emphatic that the women and the low caste people had to be educated. That was the only way for social liberation, and he practiced that. And all these plays composed and edited by Sankardeva, which are known as Ankiya play now, were actually something revolutionary. The Ankiya plays composed by Srimanta Sankardeva happened to be first play written in any modern Indian language. Before Sankardeva's plays, there were only Sanskrit plays. No play were written in any modern Indian language before Sankardeva. His play, Sina Yatra, which was enacted in 1468, was the first play in any modern Indian language. Thus, he brought about a revolution in the world of drama, and he wrote those plays in a language called Brajavali. Brajavali is actually a form of Assamese language which prevailed at the time among the common people. It was the colloquial form of Assamese language. So people could understand it, people could identify with it. Before that, only plays in Sanskrit were composed, so only the elite people could enjoy those plays. When Sankardeva started writing plays, this became so popular that all over northern India, they came to be enacted. Especially in Bengal, one of his plays, Kalyadaman, became so popular that many plays in the style of Kalyadaman were composed there and started to be enacted. And that gave rise to the Yatra movement in Bengal. So in Bengal, the drama movement called Yatra was an offshoot of the Kalyadaman play of Srimanta Sankardeva. And that gave rise to a cultural period in Bengal, which is known as Kalyadaman Yatra era. 300 years of the cultural history of Bengal has been named after that particular play of Sankardeva. That is something unique for a nation to have 3 centuries to be named after a play from another state is something great. Sankardeva's impact thus extended to beyond the boundaries of the Brahmaputra Valley. I have explained how it extended to Bengal. Beyond Bengal, Odisha also had his impact in a very large manner. Sankardeva went on pilgrimage all over India for 12 years, from 1481 to 1493. During that period, he stayed in Puri for quite a long time, and he used to give discourse on Skandapura in the precinct of the Jagannath temple. And one small boy was then 8-year-old. He used to come and listen to him. That boy's name was Jagannath Das. He was so impressed that he started a movement like Sankardeva. He wrote the Bhagavata in Uriya. Just like Sankardeva wrote Bhagavata in Assamese, Jagannath Das wrote Bhagavata in Uriya. Just like Sankardeva built a system, Namdhar, he built a system called Bhagavatongi. Just as people sit together in the floor in Namdhar, in the Bhagavatongi also people sit together on the floor. And there was no caste distinction. That was how the social structure of Odisha came to be shaped after the pattern of Sankardeva's Eka Sarana Nama Dharma. And that order of Jagannath Das came to be known as Ativari cult later on. That Ativari name was given by Chaitanya Deva. So that was how the impact of Sankardeva extended to other parts of India. And not only this, even the language of the Ankiya play was so unique that it gave rise to the development of the modern Hindi language. If you go through the dialogue of Parashuram in the Sri Ram Vijay play, you'll find how the modern Hindi language came into being. The modern scholars have already accepted that, and Dr. Kapila Bachchan has also written this thing, that the modern Hindi language came into being from the language of the Ankiya play. That is how Srimanta Sankardeva is not important for only Assam. His role is so important. He is a cultural and literary maestro for entire India. When he was on pilgrimage for 12 years, he did a lot of research work on music, because his family came from Kannauj, and they were scholars of Vedic music. Sankardeva's forefathers were great scholars, and they were also scholars of Vedic music. And they kept on practicing that. And when Sankardeva became young, then he incorporated elements from other ethnic groups of Assam to create his own music system, own Sankari music, where he composed about 25 ragas and also some talas. And especially the Barkit among these are so unique that those are the revival of the Vedic Prabandha Git. If you sing a Barkit, then the musicians will tell you that this is nothing but Prabandha Git. So the Vedic music, which had been lost for centuries, was revived by Sankardeva through his Barkit. There are other schools of music in India, like Carnatic music, Hindustani music, but in those music, there were mixture from other sources. Like in Hindustani music, Persian elements came into being during the Mughal period. So the true Indian heritage was retained only in Bargit, as it was a revival of the Prabandha Git. That is how Sankardeva's role is very important, not only in the context of Assam, but also in India. And I've already talked about how he felt about the rights of women, about how to educate them. He was very keen about the rights of women. And he departed from the Sanskrit writers when he translated something from Sanskrit to Assamese. Like the best example is Uttarakanda Ramayana. In Uttarakanda Ramayana, in the original, Sita accepts her banishment by Rama very meekly. But in Sankardeva's Uttarakanda Ramayana, Sita almost explodes and criticizes Rama like badly. As she said that I will not hear his name. If I utter his name again, I'm not a woman of words. So that sort of criticism had not been there in the origin. And also in the very first composition, Harishchandra Upakhyan, Sankardeva talked about the rights of women through the dialects of Swabya. Swabya was the queen. She was the wife of Harishchandra. So Swabya says, I am counsel, I am the actual advisor of you. So that sort of status conferred on women in writings were not there in other authors before Sankardeva. So the feminist element is very prominent in Sankardeva's writing. And what he felt about people was not confined only to the Brahmaputra Valley or India. He addressed the entire humanity. That is, he wanted people to be enlightened all over the globe. He did not address anywhere, oh Assamese people, oh Indian people. He said, oh humanity. He has written, oh Vanaraloka, oh humanity. So that was the approach. He transcended all the geographic boundaries. He was a a global citizen. He was not bound by any geographical boundary. It taught for people all over the globe. And he had a very positive approach to life. Generally, you find the religious people, religious author, denigrating the life, denigrating the human life, everything. But Sankardeva said that you have got human birth, it is very precious, so make proper use of it. This human body is actually an instrument for your elevation. You have to elevate yourself, you have to rise to a higher level by using this life properly. So that was completely different from the approach in the Upanishads. In Upanishads, the approach is neti, not this, not this, not this. So everything is negative. Even in Sankara Acharya, the approach was very negative. But Sankardeva's approach was very positive. So that positive approach has given a special trust, special energy to the people of Assam. So we should feel very happy and privileged. And I told about how integrated life he wanted for people. So he composed many songs and dances. These songs and dances were presented for the first time in this Ankya play, Sina Yatra. These dances are now known as Satya dance or Sankari dance, and these are one of the 8 forms of classical dances in India. And his music, I have already explained how these are classical music. These have all the 5 components required to be known as classical music. In classical music, there has to be 5 elements. All these are there. So we take great pride that Sankardeva was born in this place. And the most important contribution of Sankardeva was that he integrated people here. He took ingredients from all the ethnic groups in his order, like the costumes of his plays had components from all the ethnic groups. The ghuri was taken from the Rava community. The bracelet called gown was taken from the Missing community. The system called Gayan Bayan was taken from the Sunal community. The jacket was taken from the Tiwa community. So that way, every community found that something or other from their community was there. Before Sankardeva, all these communities did not identify themselves with one another. There were Miyas, Sutiyas, Ahoms, Kasari, and all these were at loggerhead with each other. There are so many wars, so many battles among them. But after Sankardeva's emergence, all these people identified with the composite culture created by him. So they came under a common umbrella, which is Assamese culture. So Assamese culture came into being practically with the advent of Srimanta Sankardeva. So with these words, I would like to conclude. Thank you.